Before we go into item 2, which is the public hearings associated with that, we'll go to item 1, which is the opportunity under state law for anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council on any item that is within our area of responsibility, our jurisdiction. Because under public comment, we have no idea what somebody may come to the podium to say. Our general rule is we do not respond to public comment. If you're going to speak under public comment, we ask that you fill out one of the white cards that are in the foyer, or if you're going to speak on item 2, which is the public hearing, we also ask that you fill out one of the white cards for that purpose as well. That way, if we have a reason or a need to communicate with you, either to provide you with information or to solicit more information from you or to notify you of an item that's going to be on the agenda that deals with the issue that you raise, we'll be able to do that. So first, as to item 1, public comment. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council under public comment? Item 1. Hearing none, then we will go to item 2. Before I open the public hearing, let me indicate that this is an annual event. We receive subventions every year in the form of an amount of money that we in turn can use to provide financial assistance to programs that meet certain specified criteria. Many of you in this room have been through this process before, and you know that invariably every request is a great request for money for great programs that benefit the city. The amount of requests always vastly exceed the amount of money that we receive from HCD. This year will be no different. So it's always a difficult process for the council to grapple with how to allocate a scarce resource, money, to multiple very, very worthwhile programs. And we will have to go through that process again this year. We have selected, as we always do, a committee of 2 members of the council to go through all of the applications for funding. The council members this year are Councilman Cabriales and Councilman Rothschild. That committee is scheduled to meet on or about February the 14th. They'll provide recommendations to the full council, and we intend to consider those and make the awards at the March 4th, 2008 council meeting. We have been provided with all of the staff backup. We have a 4-page memorandum that goes into the legal issues that we have to deal with, because there are both constraints and mandates in the law that deal with the funding considerations. And we have the list of proposed 2008, 2009 applications for these projects. So with that as the backdrop, the opportunity tonight is for those of you in the audience who want to add something additional to the material that you've already presented in your application. We have all of the applications, have all of the materials, and so we would hope that that your comments tonight would be to present either new or additional information, and not just simply to go over what will be in the applications themselves. So I'm going to open the public hearing. I have received cards from people wishing to address the council under public comment on the HCD block grants, and I just received some more. The list will probably grow as the evening goes on, always does. And please keep your comments to 3 minutes and try not to be repetitive. I will call the cards in the order that they were presented to me, and the first is Karen Goodyear. Karen Goodyear. Please come to the podium. State your name for the record, the agency that you represent.
Yes, I'm Dr. Karen Goodyear. I'm with Inland AIDS Project, and
Yep.
Okay. I want to thank you all for not only getting your RFP out on time or early and having people have the opportunity to apply for these funds, but also you're inviting us to come and speak regarding the project. In addition to what's actually in our application, I want to make basically 3 points. One point is that Inland AIDS Project serves 80 people that live in Victorville who have AIDS, and that means we work not only with that person but their family. We provide them with transportation, we provide them with case management services, we transport them to their medical appointments down in San Bernardino if that's what they need. We will help them to get food. We provide mental health, substance abuse services, and outreach services, as well as home health. The thing that's important, I think, is that you all know that we've been in Victorville for over 10 years. This spring, we closed our Victorville office. And the reason we did was because of cuts in the HIV funding. We had a 42% cut in funding to support services. We've continued to staff Victorville individuals, though, we own a building in Hesperia, so we're running our staff and our services out of Hesperia. And we very much want to come back, reestablish services in the city of Victorville for the people that we are serving, because we're running back and forth between Hesperia and Victorville. So that's all I wanted to say.
Questions or comments from members of the council? Thank you, Ms. Goodyear.
Thank you.
Next up, Susie Hollenbeck. Perennial visitor at this time of year.
Honorable Mayor and City Council members, I'm glad to be here, but you know all about us, so I really don't have to tell you too much, and it's all in the proposal anyway. But I wanted to make sure you got this, and if possible, you could attend this year. It's going to be a sit-down, be served dinner this year, and there's a big menu. We have lasagna, fettuccine alfredo, stuffed chicken, marsala, and then our normal spaghetti and meatballs and sausage is going to be there, but we're also have a live band. It's going to be a lot of fun, so I invite you to that. I want to say something about our construction grant that we applied for. Our showers are in terrible, dilapidated state. Our bathrooms are not in good shape. We don't only let people who stay in our shelter take showers. The street people can come in and take a shower and get toiletry items and get clothes also, even if they're not eligible to stay in the shelter. So it sees a lot of use every year. And we've got 2 showers that are completely unusable. They're broken. And it makes it really hard on the people that are staying there to be able to fight over the other showers to be able to take one. So I'm really asking that you would consider funding a portion of this that we're asking. We are also asking the town of Apple Valley and Hesperia to do their share. So I'm just asking that you would consider funding us on that too. Are there any questions?
Questions or comments? Thank you, Ms. Hollenbeck.
Thank you.
Next up, Anita Gomez, A Better Way, Victor Valley Domestic Violence Shelter. Another perennial visitor.
Good evening, Mayor Terry Caldwell and council members. I'm going to speak briefly. Want to thank you for the opportunity to speak here tonight, and thank you for all the funding in the past. Hope you will continue to fund our agency. We're asking just for the funds to maintain the services, and some of those services are, we have a transitional living where we have 24 apartments where the women can stay up to 18 months. We have shelter, which is 90-day shelter. We have educational classes for outreach clients and open to the community. We also go into the schools and educate the youth. We have a 24-hour hotline, and we are registered with the 211, and we would like to have the funding just to continue these services. Thank you for the opportunity to talk tonight.
Questions or comments? Thank you. Linda Hardy, Mojave Deaf Services. Hello again.
Hello again, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I know our grant speaks mostly of the services to the deaf themselves, but there are other things that we didn't address in the proposal because it wasn't what we are asking for. But just as an aside to let you know, we're way out into the community. We provided full deaf services for people who came to the evacuation center at the Victor Valley Fairgrounds. We were there, well, at least one of our staff members there, with an interpreter, with deaf, with volunteers, working side by side with the Red Cross. We're involved with the High Desert Resource Network. A lot of the, really neat thing that's going on, we're teaching a sign language, an interpreting class. It's called Sign to Voice. I am teaching 17 students who are either now interpreting or waiting to get their certificates or take their evaluation to be certified, how to see the sign language coming off a deaf person and put it in the correct vernacular, the correct syntax, the grammar, whatever level and whatever register level matches the deaf person they're interpreting for. 3 of the people in my class live in Victorville. They're already interpreters. They're enhancing their skills. One of them passed her evaluation. Yahoo! I'm hoping that the class had something to do with it. You have 3 schools in the Victor Valley system that have 4 interpreters, total I think of 4 interpreters, and all of the interpreters are attending the class for professional improvement and practice, and we're really proud of that class. It's the first time we've ever done this in the Valley. It's enjoyable. I'm having a ball with it. Are there any questions?
The comments? Thank you.
Thank you, and I appreciate your support in the past. Thank you.
Bet. Cassandra Black, San Bernardino Sexual Assault Services.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. I am the prevention educator and the counselor and victims advocate for sexual assault services. And I just wanted to share with you this evening some of the volume that we're doing as we serve the community with these particular services of prevention education, counseling, and advocacy. Year end of 2006, we educated, counseled, and or advocated for 790 people within the Victorville community. And year end of 2007, we educated, counseled, and advocated for 2,446 people, which was about a 48% increase in what we were doing. And we're proposing this year for 2008, $1,200, which is an objective that we are confident that we can achieve and surpass. So in giving you that information, I also want to say that on behalf of the Executive Director, Candy Stallings, myself, and the agency, we extend a sincere thank you for your past financial support for the work that we do, and recognizing for the fact that you recognize that we are valuable to the city of Victorville with what it is that we serve to the community. And any future funds, of course, would be appreciated and used to continue in these efforts. Thank you.
Questions or comments? Thank you. Deborah Davis, Legal Aid Society of San Bernardino.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. Thank you. Thank you for your time and your efforts. I know this is a desperate job that you have before you. We would like to, first of all, thank the city for the support that we've had in the many years past. We've been bringing services up to residents of Victorville for several years. Each year, we have successfully completed our grant by exceeding our goals. Each time that we come back up here, we have more people waiting for us. We know that the orders that we pursue often restore peace in 2 different households within your city. They also help to minimize the dependency that our clients have on public services, because we are helping them to take proactive steps to peacefully resolve domestic disputes and minimize their need on public assistance. This is work that we need to continue, and we get the support of the county, and we appreciate your support, and we want to continue doing this work into the future. Are there any questions that I can answer for you?
Questions or comments? Thank you, Ms. Davis.
Thank you.
Dennis Morris, Moses House Ministries.
Mayor, council, thank you for having us. My wife is supposed to be here, but she is in a training session, trying to finalize training for a family that will open their home to one of our clients, and that we've been in operation for over 11 years, and we still don't have a maternity home. And so what we do is we recruit families in the community to take girls into their home, and that's one of the many services that we offer. And so she's finishing that up this evening. So I'm here on her behalf. Last year, we served around 300 women in the Victorville area. This year, we served 453 women. In the community, our program, we served 1,047 women and their children, and provided most of them with multiple services. We have transportation. We have a van going all over the community, picking girls up from their home, taking them to the doctor, taking them to the social services, to Moses House for our services. In your packet, you'll have information about all the things that we do, but we have been, when I saw the figures, I was just blown away for our agency, for the staff that we have. It's been incredible. We have a baby boutique. Girls can find almost anything that they need for their baby, and they don't have to pay for it out with money. They by following the plan that we help them set. We have a case manager, and that's what your funds go for, to help us with our case manager, to help them make a plan for their life, and then they follow that plan. And as they're following that plan, they earn store credits for baby supplies. And it's incredible, the things that they get. And the community donates baby clothes, diapers, just all kinds of things. And it's amazing. And the girls earn that. And we're able to keep them on track. And, I believe you have some stories in your packet that's just absolutely incredible. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Next up, Jim Melton, Mojave Basin Youth Corps.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. It's been 5 years since we've been here. I just want to let you know our operation, at one time we were in Victorville. We've relocated out to the city of Atlanta. We're able to bring more monies into the area and assist with the youth in the community. You have 2 packages in that we're going to be working, doing a remodel and a rehab for the senior center. I want you to know that your monies are going to not only enlighten their life for the seniors, but you'll also be helping the youth that we have in our community, in our school. So it'll be helping them to continue their education and also to be able to put some money in their pocket while they're working. So your monies won't go wasted, believe me. Thank you.
Thank you. George Duran, Code Enforcement Manager.
Good evening, Mayor Caldwell, council members. I want to provide you with a quick briefing of our 08-09 objectives for code enforcement. The development department will be working together with the economic development department to target one of the council's top priorities. You'll see that we've also requested additional funding for our code enforcement and demolition programs to fully address the vast amount of distressed properties and other issues that are located in some of the CDBG target areas. Many of these structures are severely substandard. They're attractive nuisances. They're targets for graffiti, vandalism, gangs, and other crimes. And our objective for code enforcement is to obviously address these issues in a very quick, prompt, and efficient manner. Our combined efforts with economic development and the development department will enable us to expedite and better address the community's needs in this area. Thank you.
Questions? Thank you, Mr. Duran. That's all of the cards that I have. Is there anybody here who had intended to speak but failed to fill out and turn in the card? Okay, seeing nobody moving, I will close the public hearing.
I have a question. Who's been working with Bob Hunter on the U-turn program? I have a question. There's 4 items here, and I wanted to know something a little bit about it. Anybody been in those meetings?
There have been 2 departments. One is the Community Services Department. I think 3 of the items referenced in Councilman Hunter's letter come under the Community Services Department, and then one of the items, the U-turn project, has been headed up by the Public Works Department.
There's like 4 different schools mentioned, and the question I had, I guess, is if you said no to a certain amount for the school, is it like an all or nothing type of number? You know where I'm saying? Just as an example, number 12 was that would be 6th Street School. They were asking for 22,000. If we couldn't give 22,000, if we had said, oh well, we can give 5 or we can give whatever number, does that break it and they don't make it? Do they need a certain magic number to get to that level of that program being in that location or not? That was what I wanted to know.
Is there a representative from the Community Services Department here, not on the U-turn program, but on the school program that could answer that question?
I can find out before we make any decisions, but I thought if somebody was here and knew the answer to that. These schools, each one of them a standalone pod within, I know you could theoretically expand it to every school in the district, but, so that's kind of where I was at. We got somebody against that? Is a program that's identified at a specific school under these U-turn programs, if they didn't get that magic number of 20,000 that they're asking for, does that break the deal for that school, or or what? There's collectively there's quite a bit of money there.
The program's currently at 6th Street After School program. I mean, previous years we've gotten 15,000. Every year we ask for 21.
But the program works with less. I mean, you want more, but the program.
We kind of have to get into our recreation budget.
Okay. All right.
That program's been in existence now for 4 years. That's the first one we did.
All right. Well, there's some others though that aren't.
Yeah.
That's just kind of curious. They had different amounts for different schools, and I wonder if that's a program that in itself needs that kind of money, or is it just we'd like to have that kind of money, but.
Like to have that so that we don't have to go into our recreation budget. The reason for the increase in the other that there's a higher amount on that is because we talked about extending the program for another hour, because currently the program at 6th Street runs from 3 to 5 p.m. So if it ran to 6 p.m., obviously it'd be more time when the kids really need that kind of program, that supervision. Therefore, that's why we were asking for more money, and plus we were going to go. So, I mean, obviously,
one of your lucky years, we've only got 150% over what we have in the pot. So, we got 135,000 to give, and we got about almost 300,000 requested. So, okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, that concludes the hearing on the HCD block grant program. The committee will meet in the next few days, and the matter will be back before the full council if we stay on track for the first meeting in March, the first Tuesday, 7 p.m., March 4th, these chambers. Thank you for coming. We have one last item. Very briefly, the council is aware that we've had dialogue on the issue of the I-15 La Mesa and Nisqually interchange. There has been a request that we prepare and execute a document that would be consistent with a motion made by Mayor Dale from Barstow. That document is before you. Our belief that this document, if you authorize me to sign it, solve the issue of funding for the interchange. Mr. Rothschild is our designee to sandbag. Mr. Rothschild.
It's simple. We've done a lot of work into it. I think it complies with everything that is requested of us. So I would move the signing of the cooperative agreement number C08150.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? Not. Vote. Unanimous. Unless there's an urgency add-on item from Mr. Roberts, that would conclude tonight's meeting.
No additional items, Mr. Mayor.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all for coming.